I need somebody to talk me down because my confidence level in this Niner-Lion game is at least a 9, probably low 9s. I think the Niners are better. I think Detroit is a great story, and they're a great team. They've bit all the kneecaps they're going to bite. I think the Niners are better, with or without Debo. I'm not saying they blow Detroit out, but I could definitely envision them winning this game comfortably. I think Detroit has a hard time stopping the Niners. I think the Niners can pressure Jared Goff, force him into making mistakes. The Niners at home, they win this game, FP, and I'm looking for some people to talk me down. Why am I too overconfident in my thinking about this Niner-Lion game?
So if on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 you're on a bridge somewhere and you're worried, and 1 is you're just like falling asleep in the first quarter because you're not. Where are you on that scale?
Oh, on that scale, I'm probably a 2.
I was gonna say 3. I was gonna guess a 3 for you.
I'm gonna watch the game every snap, and I love football. I won't miss a thing.
We live for this, bro.
Of course, and this is one of the great days on the sports calendar each and every year. Little melancholy, though, because you know going in that you're down to 3 football games and you don't even have the Pro Bowl anymore. You got 2 this Sunday, and then you got the Super Bowl. That's it. And then we have to wait another almost 7 months to get real football back. Apologies to is it the United Football League? Because I know they united. They merged the 2 other leagues, but I've never been a big spring football guy, so for me, a little bit of sadness because you know that you've got just 3 more games left on the docket.
Well, I'm fired up to watch the Niners play another week, and we didn't know if that was going to happen halfway through the game on Saturday, so I'm fired up that they got out of it. And I think any time as a team that you can play one of your worst games of the year in advance, then that's a good sign. I think that's how you win championships. But my worry level is a little higher than yours. I'm about a 7.5 on the worry level meter here. Just because, and let me reset a little bit, because a team they believe in themselves. They have momentum. Their confidence level, talking about the Lions, is as high as it's ever been. Jared Goff is playing the best football he's ever played in his life. Dan Campbell has these guys believe it in the grit. And once you get a bunch of guys in a room and they all believe in themselves, and it's a synergistic approach and nobody gives a crap who gets the credit, then you could move mountains, man. And right now the Lions are moving mountains. If you'd have told me they'd be in the NFC Championship, I wasn't on the Lions, say 4 or 5 weeks ago. I watched them play. I watched because my dad's from Detroit. We watch the games together on Sunday. So I've probably watched the Lions play 8, 9 games this year. And they have their warts. They do. And Jared Goff might be the biggest wart that now all of a sudden he's playing as good as anybody in the league. Like, he's playing great football. And he has the confidence, and he has the swagger, and they're chanting Jared Goff, and he goes in the locker room. His teams are chanting Jared Goff. The coach throws him the game ball, Dan Campbell, and says, "We want you here in Detroit," or whatever it was that he said to him. And this team has it, whatever it is. I thought the Niners had it last year, and the NFC Championship game happened in Philadelphia.
Yeah,
and
that thing went south.
Brock's arm flew into the stands into the 4th row, and then the game was over. But now I feel like the Lions have it, and that scares me. That's why my worry factor. I'm not going to sit here and break down the left tackle and their running defense and their passing defense, which sucks, and their run defense is good. I know all this stuff. But for me, I go to the intangibles and what separates you in the biggest time of the year and the biggest games of the year. And right now, Detroit has it. And I don't know if the Niners have it. Did the Niners get it on the last drive when they turned a crappy game into a W? And now you take a deep breath and you relax and you get your confidence back? But I would say if we're doing confidence level on teams, they're both probably equal, but Detroit has momentum plus confidence.
Yep, and I think the 49ers have got some momentum, and I don't know how much momentum there actually is in football because you've got 8 days between games, or 7 if you're the Lions, and the Lions had to eke one out against the Rams, and Tampa Bay was threatening to come back in that game. They had the football with a chance to drive down and tie it, so Detroit's got their warts as well. Brian Baldinger on with the Morning Roast today had an interesting take in comparing Goff and Brock Purdy.
I would say Jared Goff, just because of his experience. Just of his experience, and I think the overall offensive line play, and how they play, and who those guys are up front. I mean, they got an all-pro, first-team all-pro center and right tackle. The left tackle has been in this league for a decade. Glasgow is just a warrior.
Yep.
Like that group up front is really, really good. It might be the best in all of football right now. So, and they protect Jared Goff like he's their guy. So I would say just because Goff has been there, he's been to a Super Bowl, he's been in the playoffs, just his mentality, it never really changes. I probably trust Goff more right now.
Trusting Goff more than Brock Purdy. That's Brian Baldinger on with Bonte and Joe, the morning roast right here on 95.7 The Game. What do you make of that, sports fans? 888-957-9570. Goff over Brock on the trustometer from Baldy. And he did lay out, the offensive line, a couple of all-pros, and a great left tackle who's been in this league more than a decade. They protect Jared Goff. To me, that is where this game definitely swings, FP. The Niners recently beleaguered defensive line against a very good Lion O-line.
I don't know if I agree with that. And Baldy's forgot more football than I'll ever know.
Totally.
I don't know if I 100%. And I'm trying to say, is this a homer take? Do I have my rose-colored glasses on or my Niners-colored faithful glasses on? Because I think Jared Goff, and you made these points, Dibs, and they were awesome. He should be under duress the whole game. He is not a mobile quarterback. Nick Bosa, if he's Nick Bosa, should have a field day. Like, there should be 3 or 4 or more sacks in this game if the Niners dial it up right. I know the offensive line is great, but that offensive line hasn't faced a defensive front like this. Now, have they been – you disagree with me. Have they been porous against the run? I think so. I think the run – I don't remember teams running on the Niners like they have of late. So I'm gonna disagree in the sense that, and I'm not trying to say I'm no more than Baldy because that guy's amazing. I watch all of his videos on
Baldy's breakdowns.
On Oh, dude, he's fantastic. I'm sitting there, he's pointing out stuff that I'm like getting deep into the weeds with.
Totally.
him. I love it. So he knows what he's talking about. But I just feel like maybe it's based on what's happened to this point, and I'm trying to project what's going to happen in this game. And if I'm going to project what's going to happen in this game, it's that Brock is going to have a way better game than he did on Saturday. And that Jared Goff is up against it. What is he, 0-5 career against the Niners or something like
exactly.
that? Sometimes he's old enough and experienced now that coming home is not going to be a big deal for him. But sometimes as an athlete, when you come home and you're playing in front of people, you try to do too much. I don't think that's going to be the case here. I think the case here is going to be the Niners defensive line is going to step up like we haven't seen them yet so far.
Yeah, no sacks against Green Bay. They did have 6 QB hits, and Nick Bosa was responsible for 5 of those. And to me, it comes down to more of the interior defensive line pressuring Goff up the middle, and then you'll get, Chase Young and Gregory and Bosa coming around the outside, but you want to collapse it from the middle in on Jared Goff, make him get outside the pocket and make a play from being on the run or being outside the pocket. 888-957-9570. Where's your confidence level? It's a Tuesday. We have a long way to go till kickoff, but we're starting to gear up now, FP, just inside of 5 days till kick. Ali's in Sunnyvale, and now on the program. What's going on, Ali? What are you doing?
Well, how you doing, you guys? I'm heading back after, on traffic right now. Just listening to you guys.
Yeah, are you on the Guadalupe Parkway, Ali?
I'm sorry?
No, I'm just kidding. I was guessing the freeway. You're probably on Highway 85 right now, heading southbound toward Los Gatos.
No, I'm on Lawrence Expressway heading south. And, traffic's not bad. It's actually moving pretty good. But just called to let you guys know that I think Niners offense against the Lions are, at the end of the game, I think we're going to win by 2 scores. So my comfort level is like, my nervousness level is, I would say, a 2, maybe 3.
Wow.
But I expect our defense to show up because, last week against the Packers, we didn't have any sacks. We didn't really have a lot of pressure. But if the defense shows up, it would be a blowout game. It would be by, 16, 17, maybe even more. So I'm looking out for our defense. The defensive line, Armstead back, Bosa, they got to show up. They got to, tighten up. They got to put some pressure. They got to knock down Goff. As far as Goff and Purdy, Purdy, his second year, but he's been in he's been in more playoff games in the last 2 years than Goff has been. So, and he's a winner. He hasn't lost the game that he finished. So, I think we're in good shape. I'm a lot more comfortable than I was last week.
I appreciate that, Ali. Thank you, and drive safe there on the Lawrence Expressway. More confident than last week. I'm kind of in the same boat. Even though last week I did predict the Niners would cover, 31-21 was my prediction. I thought it would be a game that they would have the lead and it would be a little bit more of a comfortable win. They had to come from behind. Brock Purdy leading him down the field in a 6-minute offense, so to speak, to get the victory. I think this game's going to be a higher scoring affair. Detroit's going to have some success, but I think if you get them one-dimensional, if you try to key on the run, and I thought that the run defense got a bit of a bad rap against Green Bay. They did give up 100 yards or more on the ground for the first time in 51 games, which is a pretty incredible streak that they had going, but I thought it was tainted by the 152-yard run that came against him. In general, I thought they were okay against the run. Not terrible.
I just saw 5, 6, 7, 8 yards of carry for the most part. I don't know if there was a big loss of yardage in there in the final total or not, but it seemed like the Packers were running downhill all day. I might be wrong on that, but that's just the way it seemed. And I only had 2 beers for the game, so I was literally locked in and paying attention to the game. I like that Ali gave a number. I want a number from the callers on their worry level.
Okay.
10 being you're just petrified. You think the Lions could win.
And you're at a 7 right now.
I'm at a 7.5 right now
7.5.
on my worry
Okay.
level. Like, I think if we start to get in the 8s, we're worried the Lions are going to win. In a 1 means this is I already got my ticket. It's a non-refundable ticket to Vegas for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm at a 2, and I was telling you earlier that I've been shopping for Airbnbs and VRBOs. I found a cheap one. I think it's a room in somebody's house for $75.
Do it.
I clicked on it, and the bed appears to be a cot.
Do you care though in Vegas?
Well,
You're going solo, right?
I think so. Yeah, the missus seems to think that she's going to be joining me.
Nah.
But I let it be known that I had other plans and it's a work trip. So I'm not only sleeping on a couch in Vegas, I'm also sleeping on a couch here in the Bay Area now.
Yeah, you're sleeping on a couch at home after that one. VRBO.
And you met my wife. She's a tough customer.
You outkicked the coverage. So VRBO or Airbnb, I've had some better experiences with VRBO. I don't want to mess up any sponsors here.
No, and I would tend to say that the listings are usually found on both.
Yeah.
My ex and we had a house in Oakland, and before we split and I moved out, we turned the garage into an Airbnb VRBO unit that she now owns and runs, and she has it on both sites.
So if I'm renting a place right now in the city and I decide to spend the weekend with my parents and go back to, can I Airbnb my place out, or do you think my landlord will find out?
The landlord probably wouldn't be thrilled.
Why?
Because that is a sublet.
He's not going to know.
There's usually a sublet clause
Is that illegal?
Depending on your rental agreement that you have.
Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Usually boilerplate is...
I'm unemployed. I'm looking for any way.
Especially with the rents here in the city.
Find a way, dude. You got to find a way.
You got to get it done.
I got an extra bedroom downstairs. I could even do it while I'm there.
We turned the garage into a 320 square foot studio. Pretty impressive.
Wow.
Cost a couple shekels.
Did you get the money back that you invested into it through Airbnb?
Not completely yet, no.
Okay.
But in terms of the resale value of the home itself, so now, and it's her house now. I live elsewhere, obviously. But if she were to sell the house, you're going to be able to sell it for a lot more because it's a permitted, legit,
it is
320 square foot standalone unit. So,
did you have any bad customers? Like people that just thrashed the joint and didn't get their deposit back?
No, because it's only, it's a garage. So it's 16 by 12? So it's pretty small. So you can't really
thrash a 16 by 12 place if I have a good night. I'd go rock star on your place, dude. Just break it all up and leave.
David's in San Jose. FP's trying to burn down the house. What's going on, David? You're on with FP and Dibs.
Hey, what's going on, FP? I could definitely trash that garage too if you need
it. It's easier with smaller. There's less stuff to thrash.
No, I just wanted to call in, man. Of course, all Niners all day. It was a hard game to watch. Been listening to you guys all week, man. I know we all felt kind of like we were losing the whole game until the very end, and so matter of the playoffs, just get the W and go on. Now my concerns are obviously Detroit and Green Bay. They actually are pretty favorable to each other when you want to compare them. I would say Detroit has probably a little bit of edge on the weapon, especially at the tight end position. And I would say the reason why we were off is because our D-line did not get home and made our DBs look suspect, which they may or may not be in some cases. But I'm specifically going to call out Bosa. $170 million. You had the quietest double-digit sack totals for the season. You are now 0-4 of getting sacks in the playoffs. Are you a pass rush specialist or not? I know you're not a speed guy, but are you a power guy? Because you got stoned by a wide receiver last game. So I am fully expecting to have Bosa to have a big game, and if he doesn't, and that probably is a game, gentlemen. So I'm really hoping that Bosa steps up, gets to the quarterback, not just pressures, but loss of down on those plays, hopefully a fumble, but it really starts up front. That's how I see us winning this game. The offense is going to turn around. They were not clicking. They'll turn it around. Debo's playing. My buddy sent me a picture. He was playing craps in Vegas just yesterday or the other day. So he's out there. He's going to be playing. He'll take a shot, and he's going to be fine, whether it was a decoy or not. I'm not worried about the offense. My worry is with that D-line. We're going to go as far as they take us. Thank you, gentlemen. I'll take your comments off the air.
All right, David, thank you.
It's a good take.
It's an interesting take, especially Debo throwing dice in Vegas. Well, I'll get my fact checker on that. Lucas loves to fact check, so we'll see if we can get confirmation. And if he is shaking dice, I would imagine he's throwing them with the right hand, because I think it was his left shoulder that got hurt, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not biting on that.
You're not biting on
my buddy saw somebody playing in Vegas. Debo's in Vegas.
Well, you played Saturday, which means you were off Sunday.
Yeah, but you got to get treatment. You're not
Right.
off when you're hurt. You're getting treatment. Unless they said just nothing, let it calm down before we can treat it.
You telling me you can't get treated in Vegas?
Cabin pressure hurts any injury, dude. You don't get on a plane with an injury because cabin pressure
7.5 hour drive.
inflames it. All
Less from Santa Clara.
I don't know. Then he's okay. He's going to play. If he was in Vegas, he's playing Sunday.
That's kind of what David was saying.
Yeah, he's playing.
And I agree with you.
I'm not even biting on that. He was not in Vegas.
Okay. We're going to.
But I liked all his other takes about Bosa.
Where do you sit on the Nick Bosa hate?
Because if I'm Nick Bosa's friend and I'm in the locker room, I'm giving him crap for a receiver standing him up like that. And then and people are talking about it. He saw it. He's got pride. He can be ready on Sunday.
Well, that happens, and that's what
It's football, but still,
it's the old pin and pull, as I've been told repeatedly on broadcasts, where you bring the wide receiver in and you pin the defensive end, and then you pull one of the offensive linemen around to pick off the other guy as you run in that direction. So if you're Nick Bosa, it's tough to avoid that when off the snap.
Just stop.
FP, I've played defensive end.
Okay.
I've been victimized.
I don't know what the term is, but I would term it a rag doll. You take that receiver and throw him around like a rag doll. You just and then go.
These are some pretty strong receivers.
I'm not dancing with him. I'm not dancing with him. He's up high. He was dancing with him.
He locks you up, then that's the way it goes sometimes.
Ragdoll him. That's my term. Ragdoll him on the ground and then go make a play.
Where are you with the Nick Bosa criticism? Do you think it's fair or foul in terms of, it's easy to look at that one play and say, oh, Nick Bosa's not making an impact. And the D-line didn't have any sacks. Is that a Bosa issue? Are we just scapegoating him?
I think Bosa relies on a dry track just as same as Brock Purdy relies on a dry track for his moves and all the moves he has to put on somebody. So maybe that was a factor. I don't know that you can go to training camp and missing training camp. I said that on the air, and I got home the other day, and I'm like, there is a reason why there's training camp, and you do play uphill when you miss camp. I don't care how many uphill sprints you run. I don't care how you try to recreate it in your gym or recreate it on a practice field. If you're not with your teammates and you're not getting game reps, there's a reason why there's training camps. There's a reason why Hard Knocks thinks training camps are awesome and puts it on HBO, because you have to get ready for a season. And if you miss that and you're negotiating and you sign your contract and your first game's against the Steelers on the road and you basically play every freaking snap, there could be a point to be made that you're playing uphill the rest of the year. You're a salmon swimming upstream instead of downstream because you came to the party late. That I don't know because I've never played, but if you miss spring training and you're hurt in spring training in baseball, you feel like you're playing uphill all season. Like you never really get into the flow. You're playing catch-up ball, basically. If you miss a big portion of, say, spring training in April and you jump on the freeway in middle of May and all the cars are going real fast. I don't know if that's the case with Bosa, but I mean, he's had some rushes. He's had some hurry-ups. He's affected games without the stat of a sack.
Of course.
But he's not the same guy he was last year.
QB pressures, he's among the league leaders, and he leads the team in sacks and in QB hits and in tackles for loss. So I'm kind of with Big J in Oakland, who's going to join us. Big J saying this Bosa narrative unfair. What's up, Big J? I got your back.
Hey, guys, I appreciate that, Dibs. It's exactly what you just said. I mean, imagine, let's do a comp real quick. Think about Steph Curry, and when he's doubled, he's not going to get the 30 to 35 points in a game. Other players have to step up. So these other teams are obviously scheming for Bosa because he's an elite player. So it really boils down to his teammates making plays as he, does the best he can to get to the quarterback, which he's trying to do every play of the game. So I think the narrative is a little bit unfair, and we kind of need to lean towards a team effort versus one player who is dominant, but people just start to focus towards him to take him out of the game.
Thank you, Big J. I appreciate it, and the Steph Curry comp is an excellent one. If you double him every single time down the floor, at some point, Clay's got to hit one, Pods has got to hit a three, everybody else has to step up and take some of the pressure off the chef, FP. It's not an individual game. It's a team sport.
Yeah, but he's on the end by himself, one-on-one. I know that sometimes they bring it back and he's chip blocking him too, but like he had his chance.
Doubling him.
He has chances. Somebody else do something.
Did I mention the pick and pull yet?
Is that like barbecue?
That's like pork, yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Pulled pork. Had some carnitas a couple nights ago. It was really good.
Chase Young, any good?
Yeah, he's really good.
Is he?
He's really good.
I don't hear his name called. I don't see him.
I think
do
Big J was hitting on what I was talking about in many ways, which is it's got to be a team effort.
My point is Chase Young any good?
Yeah, Chase Young is great.
I mean, I was excited when they got him. I mean, based on his resume and his pedigree, and I know he's gone through the ACL thing, I just haven't seen a lot of him. Have you seen a lot of him?
He has not been a game wrecker, no. And I would look at Javon Hargrave as a guy who you brought in free agency, and he's not lived completely up to build.
I see him jogging after plays a lot. I don't think he played. I don't think his motor is running like, say, I don't know, an Aiden Hutchinson. I don't see that in him. I see him standing up tall.
Yeah.
I see him penetrating, getting close, and then I see him jogging after plays a lot.
Well, it's game time now, and they all have heard the criticism coming off the Packer game where they had 0 sacks. And I'll make this prediction, FP. If the Niners come away with 0 sacks against Detroit on Sunday, they will lose the football game.